one thing I'm wondering is basically everyone has said, yeah, generative AI is really important, and we're thinking about it, it's top of mind. I'm not sure who's or how many people are actually implementing things yet. Like who's starting working on this?
Well, we actually asked that question, and I'm going to, here it is right here. So we asked about the state of generative AI implementation efforts. 60.4% said that they were in the experimentation and testing stage. 24.5 said that they had implemented in limited production, so, a case here, a case there. 6.6 said they were in the planning and design stage, so the earliest stage. Only 4.7%, so less than 5%, that they had implemented in production at scale. So that's kind of the highest. And then 3.8% said they're doing absolutely nothing at all.
Okay, so two extremes, but it seems like the prototyping area is maybe the most common thing. So people are sort of toying around with what's possible at the moment, but not necessarily doing things at scale yet.
Yeah, a lot of talk, a lot of experimentation, but I published an article in Forbes 2 to 3 weeks ago about Ally Financial, and they released some metrics, quantitative metrics about how they're using generative AI to increase the productivity of a series of their customer service tasks. And I wrote about the 66% improvement, 88% improvement in various efficiencies that they're getting. So they went public very quickly with some of the results to kind of show the industry what they're doing. And they're purely a online bank, so they're innovative by nature. But it was really some of the first data that I'd seen that organizations were quantifying, or at least sharing their quantified results.
That's pretty impressive that they're already they've made that progress just in the last few months. So you gave an example of an online bank. Are there any areas or projects that you see a lot of organizations investing in around data and AI at the moment?
I see most of them focused around productivity improvement, and we did ask the question about primary business opportunity created by generative AI, and 49.1%, just about half, said achieve exponential productivity gains. The other two areas were liberate knowledge workers from mundane tasks, and that was another thing that Ally Financial was, that they could free a lot of their workers to do higher order type of activities, more creative or more synthesis type of activities. And then 22.6% said improve customer service and experience. And then 4.7% said other. I'm not sure what the other are. But a lot of the activities are around customer service, particularly in terms of activities that are pretty standard in terms of communication with the customer and how they can be improved and made more efficient and streamlined.
Okay, I mean, I like those three areas. They seem pretty sensible. So improve your productivity, automate boring stuff, and then give a better experience for your customers.
Yeah, and by the way, I happened to go to this event. I live in Boston at Harvard University in October, and it was with leaders from Harvard Medical School, and they said that they were experimenting with generative AI. And they had two pieces of data to share, and as they were sharing them, I texted this data to my wife, who's in the healthcare industry. So the first one was that it said that generative AI did a better job of diagnosing patient illnesses than doctors did in 90% of cases, and they related an instance where there was a certain set of symptoms, and the person went to 10 different doctors, and there was slightly different diagnosis. And then they asked them generative AI, and it produced a result. And they went back to those 10 doctors, and they said, actually, that's the correct diagnosis. And so I texted that to my wife, and she goes, "Yeah, makes sense." And then the second thing was they said that in 80% of the time, generative AI was reported by the patients as being more empathetic than the doctors, which I thought was amazing. And I sent that to my wife, and she said, "Yep, definitely." And a week later, I was hosting a chief data officer panel, and I had the chief data officer from Mayo Clinic. And so I said, I basically surprised him on stage and said, "Hey, what about these results from this study at Harvard Medical School?" And he said, "Absolutely." He said, "That's exactly what we see in terms of efficiency of diagnosis and empathy of the doctors."